Okay, so raise your hand if you grew up in church listening to someone tell you over and over again that your flesh is weak, that your flesh is made of sin, sin equaling anything dirty, anything nasty, anything that was not of God, anything devilish or demonic. Okay, raise your hand and raise your hand, keep your hand raised if you listened to that same message continuously throughout your adulthood or part of your adulthood. Hands still raised? All right, stick around because that is what we're talking about in today's video. But before we get started, I want to introduce myself. I am Tamara Tamu. You have just stepped into another episode of Unleashed Alchemy, where on this channel I deliver spiritual wisdom in each episode to help you and guide you to remembering who you are as a spiritual master, a spiritual liberator, an alchemist, a magician. All right. If you have been here since the very beginning, thank you for sticking around. If you are new here, you already know what to do. Subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell. So as a subscriber, you know when I upload a new video, which I do quite often. All right. So let's go back to this harmful theology of being told that the flesh is weak, being told that your flesh is sinful and that you were born into so-called sin. All right. How does this influence your self-image? We're going to talk about 4 ways that harmful theology, limited doctrination. Well, all doctrination is limited, but we're going to talk about 4 ways that doctrination and programming negatively influences self-image. All right. So let's give some examples of the messaging that forms when we hear over and over again that the flesh, the body is weak and it's full of sin. So you may start to think or start to look at yourself as not being good enough. I know I did. All right. You may start to view yourself as being undeserving of what you desire. I know I did. All right. You may look at yourself as being someone who is undeserving of the life that you want, undeserving of the freedom that you want. Do you see the theme here? Being undeserving, okay? Undeserving of the freedom that you want, the thriving business that you want, the thriving career that you want, the money that you want, the abundance of money that you want, the relationship you want, the love that you want. Okay, you see where I'm going with this. So, what happens when your self-image is affected? How does this manifest in your life? We're going to look at 4 ways, and I'm going to read to you the 4 ways, and then we're going to go back and get into each one of those. So first, your voice goes away. I'll get to that in a minute. Number 2, you settle because you believe you don't actually deserve what you want. Number 3, your intuition is stifled. Number 4, your spiritual gifts are also stifled. So let's go back. We're going to talk about this in a few ways. So your voice goes away. And what do I mean by that? The power, first of all, you already know if you've been around here for a minute, one of my heavy focuses is on us using the power of our voice. All of this is creation power. All of it. This is a side note. If you've ever looked at the lateral view of the divine woman's uterus and the larynx, you will see it is miraculously extremely similar. That is not by coincidence. We have creation power right here. All of us. Divine male, divine feminine, all have creation power. Okay? Women just have it double. Ha ha. Anyway, okay. So Your voice goes away. You don't claim what you desire because of your self-image, because you've been told and listened to and programmed to believe for so long that your body is weak, that your flesh is weak, and you have underestimated how that has affected your self-image. I know I did. I thought for a long time that it was just enough for me to have physically left the church, and it was enough for me to have physically left religion. It was not. I still had the programmed view of my self-image as my body being weak and my flesh being made to sin, my flesh being nasty, that was still affecting my self-image. So I wouldn't dare speak what I wanted because I didn't think I deserved it. So going to the second point, I settled because I didn't believe that I actually deserved what I desired. So that messed with and stifled my intuition. So what is intuition? Intuition is wisdom from your body, your inner education, your inner wisdom. So remember, we're talking about this harmful theology that tells you that your flesh is weak, that tells you that your flesh is dirty, that your body is dirty. So again, I'm going to repeat myself. Remember, we're talking about these harmful theologies and how they have influenced how you view yourself. Hearing that message repeatedly leads you to believe that you cannot trust yourself. So, for your intuition to be at optimal levels, you have to learn and practice to trust yourself again. So this means because your intuition is coming from your body, you have to learn to trust your body again. All right? So let's go to the fourth one. Your spiritual gifts are stifled. So here's what you have to understand. Your spiritual gifts, again, we're talking about the body again, is rooted in your body because your body is a vessel of magic. So I want to talk about this for a minute. You know that so-called junk DNA that we learned about in school? Turns out it's not junk after all right? Along with the rest of your DNA that isn't labeled as junk, those same strands that were considered junk by scientists, they contain ancient wisdom and information about you, about your identity. So how can that be junk? So here's the thing. If you don't respect your own body, if you don't respect your own vessel, you certainly won't view yourself as a vessel of the supernatural. You certainly won't view yourself as a vessel of magic. So you won't view yourself as even having spiritual gifts. Because again, we're going back to that programmed idea that tells you that your body is weak, that your flesh is weak, and that your flesh is full of sin. We cannot underestimate, as hard as that may be to admit, you cannot underestimate how that has influenced how you view yourself. It has influenced, you cannot underestimate how that has influenced your self-image. All right? So, now, let's get into the next part of this. So now, how do you activate your voice? How do you know that you deserve what you desire and that you don't have to settle for anything? How do you embrace your intuition? That was a third point. And how do you activate your spiritual gifts now? So let's go through them. Now, number one, get into the practice of speaking out loud exactly what you want in any situation. This takes going beyond logic. This takes going beyond what is practical. It takes going beyond a strategy. It takes going beyond what the experts say. It takes going beyond what you've seen others do. You have to be willing to sound the alarm, use your siren, and go beyond the grain. Okay? So, what, for example, let's say that your desire is to have your own business because you do not like the idea, nor have you ever enjoyed the idea of having to punch a clock anywhere for any given time. You actually don't like the idea of someone giving you a schedule. In fact, the only schedule that you enjoy is the one that you give yourself. Any schedule that goes beyond a plane schedule, a flight schedule, give it to somebody else. That's not what you're on. That's not what your soul wants. And you wake up every day with that on your mind. At the stoplight, it occurs to you, it'd be so nice to have freedom of my time. But because of religious programming, you're not allowing yourself to speak because you're not trusting what your soul is showing you. So you've silenced your own voice. So get into the practice of speaking what you desire. So you want to go from being an employee to perhaps being an employer. Just because you have your own business doesn't necessarily mean you have to have employees. Let's just say you want your own business. You have some product ideas already that you want to put out into the world, and it will go beyond the grain because you've always had people tell you how important it is to have a job. You have never seen anyone take the leap into their own business. So that may be going beyond the grain for you. You may have a business already, and let's say that in 6 months, you want your business to have brought in $1 million within 6 months. Does that go beyond what anyone would deem to be logical? Yes. Because what do experts tell you in business? And this, I'm just speaking in general here, because I know it's different for businesses in different industries. But you'll have business experts say, oh, it could be at least 5 years before you see a profit. Oh, you have to work a certain number of hours on your business or in your business to see that type of profit of $1 million. You have to do certain things a certain way in order for your business to see $1 million profit. But because you're not caring what the experts say, you're going beyond logic. You're just going to say exactly what you desire. I desire to have this fragrance business with these 3 fragrances, and my desire is to see in 6 months $1 million in profit. Period. You have just to allow yourself to say that out loud. Do you not have any idea the type of creation power that activates on the inside of you? All right. So that's an example, a very long example, but you get it. So why is it important to speak out loud? And I just said this. This activates and wakes up cells in your body. Listening to your own words is one way to reconnect with your body. Allowing yourself to hear your own words is another way to pay attention to your body. Okay, so let's get into the second point. Your deserving level. We talked about that. All right, that's another way that self-image is affected through that harmful theology that says that the flesh is weak and that the flesh is born into sin and made to sin and all that foolishness. All right. So your deserving level. Examine how having what you desire right now will make you feel. Peace, at ease. It can make you feel happy, relieved, free. So then the question that you can ask then is, how can you feel those feelings, those emotions right now? Why is it important to ask that question? Because asking that question, it then places your consciousness at a level that says these feelings are normal. It's not, these feelings are not just fleeting. These feelings are not just for certain people. These feelings are not just when something good happens. This is how I feel every day. This is how I deserve to feel every day. This is how I live. I expect to feel peace. I expect to feel at ease. I expect to feel happy. I expect to be liberated. I expect to feel freedom. I expect to be relieved all the time. Now, what would be normal for some people will tell you, well, you can't expect to feel good all the time. Well, why not? Who said that? Where did that limiting idea come from? And for some people, they will hold on to that truth for them and let them take that. But if you can believe that to feel at ease all the time is unrealistic, why can't you believe the opposite of that it is realistic for you to feel at ease and to feel joy all the time? Being able to go against that grain, it invokes comfort in your own body again. Okay? So let's take the third point where we talked about intuition. Third point is embracing intuition. The more comfort you feel in your own body, the more comfortable you are accepting that you have inner wisdom. The more comfortable you are in your own body, the more comfortable you are with knowing that you have intuition. So, throughout the day, take more moments and be intentional about listening to your body. Your inner wisdom is always revealing itself. We just have to be willing to stop, pay attention, and just listen. You have to allow yourself to be in your body, which means you have to stop doing, stop working, stop talking, and just be. Stop strategizing. Stop thinking. I know that sounds funny. Stop thinking and just be. Feel into your body. I don't care if you have to go outside and just feel the sun on your face. I don't care if it's a windy day. Sometimes windy days are the perfect days where you just go outside, leave your phone on the indoors, don't take anything outside, just your body, you and your body. Go outside and just feel the wind. Sometimes that's enough. The fourth point, your spiritual gifts, activating your spiritual gifts. Go through parts 1 through 3 that we just covered. All right. Get to a place in your consciousness when you know that an infinite power has awakened within you. Get to a place where you know that your higher mind is in you, creating exactly what you speak. not the how, but what you desire, what you're speaking. When you get to this place, then you become rested in the knowing that you carry power that can make you feel elevated beyond your humanness, yet grounded still by your feelings, how you feel. Again, no matter what we say, we're always going to come back to the body. When you allow your consciousness to embrace your sovereignty and your spiritual mastery, you know, and you can embrace and just sit still in the fact that you are the source that sees all, hears all, and knows all. And it does take a level of surrender to embrace that knowing, because having that knowing, it is mystical, it is metaphysical, it is ethereal, it is cosmic. Yes, it goes beyond logic, but that is getting to the truth of who you are. So I'm going to go through these 4 points again. You get into the practice of saying exactly what you want. So let me start all over. To move beyond the dogma that says your flesh is weak, your body is made to sin, your body is weak, your flesh is sinful, you can't trust your body, can't trust your intuition, you can't trust yourself. That leads to a negative self-image. How do you move past that? Number 1, activating your voice. Get into the practice of saying exactly what you want. Number 2, know that you deserve what you desire. So pay attention to your deserving level. Embracing your intuition, because embracing your intuition helps you reconnect. It is reconnecting you to your body. And number 4, activating your spiritual gifts, which involves number 1 through 3. It's bringing all of that together. And again, it takes a level of surrender to embrace that metaphysical you, the mystical you, the sovereign you, the spiritual master that you are. All right. Yes, it takes a higher level of consciousness to live in that identity. But that is what life after religious programming, that is what that looks like. Life after dogma, life after indoctrination. Don't you want to be free? Well, this is what freedom looks like. All right, this is what freedom is. Okay. So with that being said, I want to remind you to book a call with me if you are wanting more one-on-one spiritual support. Okay. The link to do that will be in the description box always. My other resources that I offer are also there. Okay. Along with videos, over 400 now on my channel. There's so much more to come because we have a lot to talk about. All right. So anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video. Share it. All right. And don't forget, if you are new here, before you leave my channel, subscribe. All right. And until next time, cheers.